I needed to create lots of buttons for a project I'm working on where I had high-risk patients. And I needed a button. It wasn't even a button, actually. It's just an indicator that displayed on the screen that said high risk. So that's what that is. Red with a yellow, high risk. So it stands out. Everybody knows that patient is high risk. And by high risk here, it means they're at risk for cancer. Because their genetic test came back. They're predisposed to have cancer. Anyway, you can see what we did here. We started with the same way. 9632, blank image, red, rectangle. Okay. Then I set my fill color to yellow, set my font to Helvetica, my point size to 18, and I drew some text. Starting at 6:22. That's the upper left corner of my text. And I told it to write high risk exclamation. Okay. It's not very fancy text processing here. If I wrote something longer than that, it would just extend out the end of the image. It doesn't wrap or anything like that. And I wrote a file called exe2. Okay, so let's go down to the next one. That's all, it's a nice looking image. You could use it as a button, but let's round the corners. It looks even better. Should have a 3, right? Yeah, 3. Now it's got rounded corners. See how easy that is? Do that in GIMP.
Eventually.
You can.
Yeah, you can.
But get it to be at the space you want it, with 1 pixel around the edge of emptiness there.
The centering of high risk in that,
Yeah,
is that just because it happened to, if,
because I told it,
It started at 622.
yeah.
right, so you centered it yourself?
I ran the command and I saw it was offside.
And then you
so I
moved it back it up, yeah,
added or
okay, I
subtracted it,
understand, I
yeah.
just wondered if there was a.
Yeah, okay. So now we're doing round rectangle. Okay? It's just like drawing a rectangle, only you draw a round rectangle with the added parameter of the radius, and that's 6 by 6.
Oh.
It's 6.
Pixel.
The radius 6 wide by 6 tall. So I don't know if it's a radius or a circle. I think it's a radius. Anyway, we could obviously go to the. How do you tell Unity to not switch my view space to the next page if my browser is more than half on the next page? Craig?
Nicely.
Sorry? Drives me nuts.
How do you cause it to not switch windows?
That's why I use LXDE with Fedora.
Let's go back. What we want now is the draw command. Draw, it's the D's, right? It's draw.
There you go.
And these are the things that you can draw: points, lines, rectangles, round rectangles. WC, HC. It's probably the width from the center of the rectangle, or the center of the circle, and height of the width of the circle.
Must be down below that, right?
Sorry?
But if you scroll down,
Scroll down.
W and HC must be down.
Let's see, round rectangle.
You can.
Followed
There's
by
the
the width and height
Height
of.
and width of the corners, the rounded corners to be removed. So HC is the height of the corner and WC is the width. It's an interesting way to say it.
So that would be like, this corner is being removed into this.
Right.
So that's saying the part removed.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because you can
okay,
say,
so-
if you want it like 10 by 6, then it'll be more of a,
Okay,
It'll
so
go out
that-
further
it'll
and
go
then
further out,
cut,
yeah.
Right.
Right,
And
that's
so
why,
you-
that's one place where GIMP comes in handy.
You said 6 by 6.
Right.
So that made it symmetrical, but if
Right.
you had said 10 by 6, it would have,
yeah, it would have
Yeah.
been more like a,
right, yeah.
Out.
Okay, I got it, no, I got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely gives you full control.
Yeah, see with GIMP, I have this, you get this nice ruler, you can see that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe that is the 6th.
yeah.
Anyway. So that's a nice looking button, right? But we can do better. Pretty sure we can. You ever display a red image or any kind of an image On a white background, they generally look okay. But you may not always be on a white background. What if you display it on a gray background that's like more than, closer to black than it is to white? The red kind of blends right in. It can be kind of hard to see. Or maybe you're displaying it on a red background. Then the red completely just blends right in. It's hard to see. So I like to put backgrounds around or borders around the buttons. Right? Makes it a little better. Right? It's a little pixelated as we grow. It's all right. See, nice border around it. I did that by first drawing a black round rectangle at my original size, and then drawing the red rounded rectangle slightly smaller. Right? I went in 2 more pixels all the way around, and my radius on my rounded edge is slightly smaller. So it fits nicely into the black. The red fits nicely into the black. The radius around the corners still works pretty nice, and it looks pretty good. But we can do better.
Well, can this be translated to GIMP script foo?
Probably. I've never played with script foo in GIMP.
It seems like you're writing them awfully long.
I am,
Script.
but that's all right. All right. Finally, let's really throw some pizzazz into this thing.
So convert's actually taking nothing and creating something out of it, right?
Yeah, out of thin
Yeah,
air.
I have no image.
So convert is a little
Wrong
bit.
name for the word.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrong name for that command. Yeah.
Imagemagick, that's
Okay,
right.
so now I've added some fancy schmancy stuff here. Actually, I called that one final. Okay, see what I did there?
Oh, yeah, some white,
Right. It's got some sort of
like a glare on it.
shading. It's
Yeah.
got lighting effects on it, sort of a little more 3D. It kind of actually looks like it on here. Blown up doesn't look that great, but if you put it on a regular web page, it actually looks like it rises out of the page a little bit. And there's a lot more you can do. There's some magic I'm doing in here. I basically take the image and I clone it. That creates another copy of the image. Imagemagick works on a stack. So I got this image that's on the stack, I do a clone and it creates another image that's at the top of the stack. I can do some operations on this image. I can turn off alpha, I can blur things, I can shade things. Normally, most of these things I don't have a clue what they do. I kind of learned some of these things from stealing examples.
You gotta say examples, yeah.
Yeah, other sites. There's a bit of a roll. I think that's what gives it the kind of the rounded, slight feel to it. Then I clone it again to make another copy of that, and then you do a composite to like mash it back together. And then when you come out of the parentheses, now you're back working on the main image again. You do another composite. Compose in sets up the compositing, and then you do the composite, and that mashes what I did inside the parentheses with what I've got going on outside the parentheses.
Okay.
Mashes it down, and then finally I write my text on it, and I save it.
So could you save the parts in between so you can see what the different parts look like?
Well, I could stop at that point.
Okay, but you can't save multiple images, so you can see the different layers.
As far as I know, there's only one out.
Okay,
Right?
so you have to do it at different times.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, we can start with this. We've already done this much and saved it and seen it. Right?
Yeah.
So then we cloned the image and did some effects on it, and we could stop right there, and you would just see without, basically at that point, it would be without the yellow writing. You really want to composite it together, or you're only going to get, I think, the top image off the stack. So anyway, that's
What is a PNG? Is that a bitmap?
portable network graphics. Is that
Yes,
what?
it is a bit.
It's-
It is a bitmap?
It was the replacement for GIF because
When GIF had-
CompuServe was starting to claim copyright, so they came out with PNG.
Patent, yes, patent issue. But-
Yeah.
And when you did that fill and then you did another fill, you changed the size and you did another
Yeah,
fill.
yeah.
Does that double up the number of bytes in the file, or does it
No,
know
and
not
it just
to,
lay the, I think when you do the composite, actually, you don't even have to do the composite, but it just lays them on top, I think.
and so it's producing the fully rendered thing and not laying and overlaying and stuff like that? So
It's not layers, if that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Like GIMP, when you play with GIMP, you'd end up with an XCF file,
Right.
which is a whole bunch of, well, depending on how you drew your image, you'd likely have a bunch of layers.
Right.
And then when you say you want to save it as a GIF or a JPEG, it asks if you want to flatten it. And that basically is what we're doing here. It flattens
Okay,
the
so
whole
it's,
thing down.
okay, I understand, yeah.
Between all these images, is there a file size difference?
Oh, yeah, each one that I did, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's adding more bits, I would guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, the first one, just a red rectangle,
Oh, yeah.
not very much there. There's a lot more pixels in it than that, but PNG has some compression. It knows that it's,
Oh, yeah.
you know, in fact, a lot of that is probably header information. You can't see much from that. There's not much exciting in there. Let's see.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing you know. There's actually a way to get a lot more information out of it. That identify basically does what I just did there with info. But there's a way to spit out all kinds of neat stuff. I just forget what the command is right now. So, there's a lot going on right there that I don't understand. Actually, from there down to here. I understand the composite stuff, the clone and the composite is just branching off, creating new images, manipulating those images, and then smashing them back down and merging them back into one image.